So we bring this up for a number of reasons, especially for anyone out there that's in their recovery. And, how is that a danger to us when we become emotionally charged, right? I believe the saying is the good news in sobriety, you get your feelings back. The bad news in sobriety, you get your feelings back. So, so we have to learn how to process those, what some people could look at as normal emotions to them, but it's different for those of us that are in recovery and on that walk. So, what do you think are the dangers to our recovery and some things that we can use to deal with them?
Just anytime emotions are heightened. I remember a lot of times, like when I would get upset, and coming from like a recovery perspective, whenever my emotions were heightened, I didn't think like logical thoughts when emotions were like blaring. I would say anytime like you're emotionally charged like that and you don't have a logical thought process, it puts you at risk for relapse, because you're going to make a rational, like well thought out decision. That's like the talking to somebody before I talk to my daughter kind of thing. Heightened emotions, like whenever that happened in the very beginning, that's what always led to my relapse, you know? So that's a dangerous place to have somebody. But now, like if I'm in a highly emotional state, I can go to God. I can pray. What would you do when you felt like you were going to relapse or you were at risk for relapse? Wasn't there like a thing that you went to?
For so many people, when we have those emotions that come back to us, I think that almost in a sick way that our brain almost wants us to experience all this stuff, and to the point of where it stresses us out so much that it sounds like a good idea to go use again, or just all these feelings. It's just you that's going through this. You're depressed. You're down. How you're not going to be able to handle this. And so to make us go back to that one thing that we always used to reach for to make those emotions go away, right? And so we wouldn't have to experience them, because a lot of people don't like experiencing their emotions. The situation that you're referring to is, I think it was just the overwhelming, probably the feelings I was going through at the time was you were pregnant. I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. Now I got to work 60 plus hours a week to provide, and I got to do all this stuff when in early sobriety, and all these responsibilities piling on me. And to the point where, I knew that I could figure out who had what, and so close to just saying, hey man, let me get a couple or whatever it is, and just having to lock myself in the bathroom and beg God, please God, just take this thought for a drink or drug out of my mind, because I know what's going to happen if I use again. I think that's something we can go to is God in those moments. But I really feel that having some people that God put in our path to be able to reach out to, I think that's a huge part of the process. Yes, going to God in prayer, but then be able to digest those feelings, to talk about it with someone, let someone know what we're at, what we're experiencing, especially someone, that has kids, right? Like the two people that I ran it by is people that have children. They could, oh man, they knew what was going on. I feel you there. My daughter, my son was doing this and this, and just people with some real life experience to pass on. But, you learn over time that, emotions, they're so much better than just letting our anger or letting everything get the best of us. Because then a lot of times, if you're working a program, you got to go make an amends for that you just let loose on someone. So instead of making an amends every single day, I learned, man, I got to do something to try to. My sponsor always talked about, like, you're always like up here or you're way down here. Like, it's either really great, everything's going good, or all of a sudden you got like the worst problem ever. It's the end of the world, right? He was just telling me, man, we got to get you like to here. Like, this is the sweet spot in here where you're a little up, a little down, but stuff doesn't affect you like it did, once upon a time. So I think just being able to have God and people to talk to is a huge part of dealing with those emotions.
Agree. What were those three things that you said? Like, say somebody does get to that point to where relapse is like imminent. Wasn't there three steps you said to always, or three things to consider?
Yeah, so we talk about, one, going to God in prayer, and that honest from the bottom of my heart, God, please, like, take this thought for a drink or drug out of my mind, because I know what's going to happen if I do one of anything again. And going to God in that heartfelt prayer, and right in that moment, running it by people, having people we can pick up the phone, we can talk to. Hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm struggling with. I'm about to say, bump it and go back out. so huge to have someone to talk you through that process. And I always share with people, man, every time I did that, especially in early sobriety, by the end of that 10 or 15-minute phone conversation, I did not want to use once I got off of that phone. It's just a feeling, just a thought. Someone was there to walk me through it. That's huge. And then the third thing is that I would say I use the most at this stage is think it through. And so it's so easy to think of that one time when it was great, or like that, man, I was going through that painful situation that one time I did this, it took it away, I felt awesome, right? We just like replay the highlight reel of the one touchdown, and we don't play the tape all the way through. And so now I get, yeah, that one time might be good, right? But then I know what's going to happen. And then I got to hide it from everybody. And then I'm going to be thinking of it more. And then I'm going to go get more. And then it's only a matter of time before I lose everything. I'm back out on the street. No one in the community trusts me. My family's gone. And I'm just back out where I started every other time that I picked up drugs or alcohol. So now when you play that all the way through and say it out loud, definitely does not sound like a good idea. It's a hard pass. I'm good today. God help me stay sober for another 24 hours, and we keep it moving forward.
And I had some ladies help me. Ladies reached out to me. I think you reached out to some people to have them send me like an encouraging message and everything, just to remind me, because I tend to like isolate sometimes when like craziness is happening. So yes, like I'm reaching out to God, I'm praying and I'm talking to God about all these things. But it was nice because I don't have like the mentors that you do. So that's probably like an area that I need to work on myself to this day. You had some ladies like reach out to me, and just be like, hey, I've gone through something similar, and they'd send me a message, so that was kind of nice.
Of course, I love you.
Yes, I love you too.
So I want the best for you. It's for anyone out there. Like, reach out. I absolutely did call some people and say, hey man, Bonnie's really going through it. Like, this and this happened. If you could just reach out and give her some encouragement, it would be, so appreciated. Mm-hmm. And they did. People reached out. Same thing. We got to look out for each other, guys.
That's right.
We got to hey man, I know what you're going through. I've seen you, keep on moving forward. Whatever it is, let people know that we're here for one another. And we do this together. We do this as a family unit. We move forward to not only be sober, but to live in purpose. Part of our purpose was God gave us these children. Mm-hmm. And so this type of stuff is going to happen, right? It's not like we're living in a bubble over here. Just because we use drugs and alcohol, we think our kids are going to be sober the rest of their lives. That is not the case.
No. Yeah. And it's just you're constantly learning something, even though like we've been sober, like God's still using all of these little trials just to like encourage our faith and to like strengthen any like weak areas. It's like whenever like a hurricane comes rolling through Florida, what happens? Like even if it's maybe like Cat 3 winds or something, it knocks down all the weak fences, but the strong fences stay. And he's able to build where all of that junk was that didn't need to be, that was weak and essentially. So.
Guys, if you enjoyed this conversation and you want to know more, maybe you're going through a painful situation right now, please watch the full-length video. We just did a talk at our High on Jesus meeting, how to have serenity in the midst of chaos. So I'd love for you to watch that full message. And if you want more content like this, if you're in recovery, you don't want to do this alone, you got people to help you through this, please subscribe to our channel. It helps to get this content out to more people. Turn that notification bell to all so you can see every time. We got some awesome shorts too that we drop throughout the week. Give you some 60-second motivation, some inspiration to take with you. We love you guys. We want to take this journey with you. God has called us to something higher. Freed us from the slavery of addiction. Blessed us in so many ways.
Like it talks about in the Bible, that unity that's going to bring people to Christ.
When you pray those prayers from a place of desperation, no matter what is going on in my life, God has this covered.